Surprise, motherfucker.
What's going on, guys? Wilson here, and I'm going to be creating my own top 10 antagonists of the Dexter TV show series. Please note that everything is solely based on my personal opinion, so if you guys have different opinions, let me know in the comments down below. I have my own set of criteria of how I set up this top 10 ranking of antagonists. This is gonna apply to the whole series, seasons 1 through 8. It will not be ranked by seasons. Overall impact towards characters is important, not only towards Dexter, so these antagonists have to be impactful towards the show in general. Character development is another thing that's important to me. The antagonists have to be somewhat interesting. This is not going to be limited to just serial killers, and no cops or any law enforcement will be included on this top 10 list. So for example, we have LaGuerta and Sergeant Dokes. They are cops and they're just doing their jobs to take down the Bay Harbor Butcher. Each character within my top 10 list of antagonists will be assessed by their persona, methods of killing, and their impact towards the other characters on the show. Please give this video a thumbs up, I would totally appreciate that. And without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, got my notes here to make things a lot more smoother. Number 10, we have George King, aka the Skinner. He's from season 3. I know this one may be very questionable. I think he is a good fit, at least within the number 10 spot. He is known as like the boss of his own tree trimming company, but in reality, he's actually someone who enjoys torturing and skinning people and just killing people in general. His methods of killing includes interrogating and torturing people by slicing their skin off and their flesh with a machete. So his overall impact towards the characters and on the show, he captured and tortured Anton, who was Deborah's boyfriend at the time. And yeah, he got cut up pretty badly. Ooh, it got really personal for Deborah. And he also attempted to kill Dexter at one point and even got the chance to abduct Dexter. But luckily, Dexter got free and he ended up killing George King, aka Skinner. Number 9, this may also be another shocker, and here, let me explain to you why. I picked Christine Hill from season 4. Her persona is basically she's just a reporter and a journalist who happens to be very attractive. She's charming, fun, and caring, but in reality, she's actually loyal to her father, who happens to be the Trinity Killer, and just wants to be loved and acknowledged by him the whole time. Her methods of killing includes just shooting. And this is the reason why she's number 9 on my list. She got involved with Joey Quinn and basically used him for intel and just to know the whereabouts of the Trinity Killer case that everyone was working on. And she really tried to protect her father from being caught by the police, you know? And she even went through interrogation and just BS'd everything. But the most important part of why she's in the number 9 spot is because she even went to the extent of killing Agent Frank Lundy, the FBI agent who was in a relationship with Deborah. Frank Lundy was there from season 2. He left, came back in season 4 to try to apprehend the Trinity Killer, ended up getting killed by Christine Hill. And Deborah, luckily, she survived, but she was very wounded and very heartbroken because Lundy died. The number 8 spot on my list goes to Miguel Prado from season 3. His persona was a ADA. He had a high profile in law enforcement, very respected and influential in the city, but in reality, he grew an urge to kill. He believed that the justice system was very flawed and wanted to take things on his own, like in a personal level of justice, and he was just definitely power hungry. Methods of killing: knife stabbing, beating, and strangulation. He also buried bodies in newly dug up graves, and he also had the motive to keep trophies, and what he did was keep rings. So his impact of why he's on the number 8 spot: he found out Dexter was a killer, he embraced Dexter's true nature, even became Dexter's best friend at the time. And Dexter was also able to open himself up to him and show him the ways, like including Harry's code. Almost had like a partnership or apprenticeship going on. It went bad when Miguel killed Ellen Wolf, who happened to be a defense attorney, like in opposition to what he does for his job. And so he went off hill and just went against Harry's code. He went even far enough to try to kill Maria LaGuerta. He even convinced George King to kill Dexter. In the end, Dexter had to kill Miguel because he was an uncontrollable monster. He's in the number 8 spot because he had a very big impact on Dexter's life. Number 7 on my list, Lila West from season 2. Her persona is that she was a sponsor for Narcotics Anonymous group. She was fun, loving, and compassionate by face, claimed to have overcome her own meth addiction. She is a sculptor who steals items for her abstract and disturbing art, but in reality she is a compulsive arsonist, very obsessive, manipulative. Her methods of killing is by fire, whether it's burning people alive or just by a fiery explosion. And the impact she has to be on the number 7 of my list is that she sponsored Dexter, got really close to him, tries to help him overcome his dark side. So they sparked a romance, and Dexter even broke up with Rita over this. She even set up her own apartment on fire to get Dexter's attention and basically wanted to keep Dexter on a leash, like close by to her at all times. At one point she even framed Batista for drug and rape after being dumped by Dexter. Even worse, she caused the cabin in the Everglades to explode where Sergeant Dokes was located in when he was captured by Dexter. So instead of saving him, she blew the place up. That helped Dexter, but that was messed up. Like, she killed a pretty important character at the time. She also abducted Aster and Cody, and Dexter had to save their lives from a fire because she started burning her own loft again. She left the country. Dexter followed her ass and killed her in France. Number 6, we have Jordan Chase from season 5. His persona was like an author, motivational speaker. He was always like, take it, and had his own organization. He seemed to be wise, helpful, friendly, just someone important in the society. But in reality, he was the leader of the Barrel Girl gang, where he was very manipulative. He becomes angry pretty fast, very frustrated, impatient, and just remorseless. And his impact towards the show, why he's on the number 6 spot, is because he ruined many women's lives and killed them. He had a whole group involved, like a group of murders, right? That is insane. He basically caused trauma to Lumen and Pierce, who was a main character of that season. He built a relationship with Dexter and pushed him to relive his the circumstances of Rita's death, you know, from the previous season, and wanted Dexter to confront it. He went far enough to try to clear himself from Miami Metro, and at one point he even baited Dexter by getting him to go to his own comrade's house, Alex Tilden, to be caught by the police, but that didn't happen. He killed Emily, that first girl that he really liked, with a fireplace poker, and then at the same time he kidnapped Lumen after using Emily to convince her to come to her house, and then brought Lumen to that camp where she was initially tortured. And then at the end he captured Dexter, but Dexter turned it around. He ended up getting killed by Lumen, turned Lumen into a killer. Alright, number 5, we have Oliver Saxon, known as Daniel Vogel, the brain surgeon of season 8. He's on my number 5, where his persona, his cover-up was as a charming man who's normal, responsible, just like a building inspector. I guess he killed someone named Oliver Saxon and took over his identity. In reality, he lacked empathy and remorse and just had no fear. He was intelligent, manipulative, cunning, and ruthless, and his methods of killing includes killing people with a handgun or bone saw. He would slice through their skulls and scoop out like a portion out of their skull, like their brain. It's called the anterior insular cortex, which is the part of the brain that processes empathy, and he would send the parts of the brain, that part of the brain, to his mother, Evelyn Vogel. And the impact he had, he got close enough to Dexter by dating his neighbor Cassie, and even joined Batista's party for Jamie at the time. Then he eventually killed Cassie, so that was effed up. He also killed Zach, which was like a potential protege for Dexter. He also killed Max Clayton, a US federal marshal, and then he killed his own mother, Dr. Evelyn Vogel, who became a major character of the last season. He ended up shooting Deborah, which got her on life support and where she had a stroke, and that led to very, very sad and unfortunate things within the last episode. Dexter publicly kills him at the precinct with a pen. But yeah, he ruined Dexter's life. He was decently developed, it wasn't the greatest, but that's why he's still up there. Number 4, we have Travis Marshall, aka the Doomsday Killer of season 6. His persona was basically a graduate who worked at the Miami Cultural Center. He was polite, calm, collected, organized, and soft-spoken. In reality, within his childhood, he had a lot of psychological disorders, which caused him to be violent, delusional, and very manipulative. Methods of killing included biblical-themed murders, and these are his impacts. He followed and caused like deaths to many and labeled it as like the 7-headed serpent, 4 horsemen, the angel of death, whore of Babylon. He killed his own sister. He almost killed Batista at one point and tried to burn him alive. He even had his own disciples do like some dirty work. They were known as Steve and Beth Dorsey, and Beth Dorsey happened to be the person who almost killed Deborah with a poison gas bomb at the Metro precinct. Killed his own Professor Galar with like the sword of John the Revelator, my bad. At one point he almost killed Dexter in the Lake of Fire. It even got more personal for Dexter because he almost killed Harrison, Dexter's own son, because he needed an innocent child for sacrifice. So you can see why he's up there at number 4. And in the end he got killed by Dexter, which made things pretty bad because that's the point when Deborah found out about Dexter's secret as a killer. Number 3, we have Isaac Serco. He's known as the Wolf from season 7. His persona is as a leader of the Koshka Brotherhood. He owns like strip clubs, and he was sophisticated and very calm, had a strong sense of personal honor. Methods of killing would just be using his men to kill because he is kind of like a mob boss. But for Dexter, he really wanted to kill Dexter because he was motivated by love and passion. So the impact he had on the show is when he attempted to kill Dexter, he went to his apartment, tried to kill him there, but Dexter outplayed him at that time. He followed Dexter around, even killed like 3 Colombian guys from like a rival group and survived. He had control over a guy named George Novikov who had leverage against Joey Quinn to get Isaac out of freaking jail. Later on, he got closer to Dexter for odd reasons, and he even gave Dexter advice for Hannah McKay, saying that she needs to know how you feel. He basically kidnapped Hannah and needed Dexter to kill 2 assassins that were out for him. So it was kind of like a trade-off, freeing Hannah if Dexter kills 2 people. He basically became a very fascinating character, very likable. In the end, Dexter buried him at sea as it was his final wish to be buried with his significant other. Number 2 on the list, we got Brian Moser, the Ice Truck Killer from season 1. His persona is a prosthetist, I think I said that right, as Rudy Cooper, someone he killed in the past and took over his identity. He is intelligent, cautious, calculating, and very deceiving. He is Dexter's older brother. His methods included using an ice truck, had a custom refrigeration unit in his apartment just to freeze body parts. He would strap people onto a table, like upside down. He would slit their carotid artery and let them bleed out. He would showcase all of his victims. He targeted prostitutes. He had no moral code, and he was just free to kill. He almost killed Batista at one point because Batista determined that he was potentially the ice truck killer. He tricked Deborah into loving him. Even before kidnapping her, he proposed to her and she said yes. That was his fiance, which is crazy. And he almost kills Deborah, or at least he almost got Dexter to kill Deborah. He had a huge impact on both Dexter and Deborah. So he was very interested in Dexter the whole entire time. He gave encrypted clues, including dolls, nails, and photos to remind Dexter of his past and everything. He murdered Dexter's father by giving him like a sedative or something, and in the end Dexter had to make a huge decision to kill his own brother. That was crazy. And he even came back to become Dexter's darkness in season 6 after Dexter killed Nick. Number 1, we have Arthur Mitchell, aka Trinity Killer of season 4. He was a family man who went to church. He was also a teacher, and he built homes for the homeless. In reality, he is just a ruthless killer with homicidal impulses. His methods of killing follows a ritual where he would have 4 steps. His last MO is that he would leave his sister's ashes at like his kill sites. The impact Arthur Mitchell had within this whole season 4 is, first of all, he was like a role model to Dexter. Okay, like serial killer wise, a role model. Dexter wanted to know how this man had a perfect life while being a serial killer because he had a family and everything. It looked perfect to him. Dexter found out that Arthur abuses his family and is just someone his own family hates. and Dexter doesn't want to be that with his own family. Arthur also had a daughter named Christine, who was number 9 on my list, had great control over her, and I already told you she killed Lundy and shot Deborah. There was a lot of trouble capturing him. That's true because he's been killing for about 3 decades. Frank Lundy couldn't even catch him, and he even confronted Dexter at his own workplace. In the end, Dexter caught Trinity, and Trinity accepted his death as like God's will because he thought it's already over. Trinity was talking about Dexter. Everything's over. Dexter will never have a normal life as being a good father and husband because he killed freaking Rita. This was like the most shocking thing. He basically ruined Dexter's life. Even Harrison, his own baby boy, was in a pool of his own mother's blood just like Dexter was when he was at a young age. So Rita died, and that was the very end of season 4, which was very traumatizing to me. Most shocking death out of the whole series. Everyone thinks that the Trinity's still out there, that he escaped, even though Dexter killed him secretly. Trinity is number 1 on my list of antagonists for Dexter the whole series. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Dexter is such a great show. But yeah, stay tuned for more videos. If you guys have any ideas, feel free to suggest them to me. So yep, peace out.